Once there was a king who loved his grandson very much. He would spend hours playing with him. He talked about his grandson all the time, even in front of everyone on the court. The king proudly declared,
"My grandson is the most handsome child of all."
Everyone in the court agreed, because they did not dare to argue with the king. But the minister said,
"Your Majesty, the young prince is very good-looking indeed. But all parents find their children beautiful."
This angered the king. So, one of his courtiers suggested that each of them bring a child whom he thought to be the most beautiful. Then, they could judge who was the most beautiful child. The next day, each courtier brought a child with him. The king saw them all, but he insisted that his grandson was the most handsome child. Finally, he came to the minister, who had been silently standing and watching the scene all the while. The minister did not have any children with him. The king asked him why he had disobeyed. The minister said that, although he had seen the most beautiful child in the country, the child's mother did not let him bring it.
She did not want strangers to cast their eyes on her child,
added the minister.
"Then we will go in disguise and see the child ourselves,"
said the king. So the king and the minister, accompanied by a few ministers, traveled to the other end of the city. The minister took them to a small and dirty hut. A child was playing in the mud. His body was covered with dust and grime. The king and his courtiers were shocked when they saw the child. He was the ugliest child they had ever seen. The child had poxmarks all over his face. He was dirty and had a runny nose.
"You call this child beautiful? This is the ugliest child I have ever seen,"
said the king. The child's mother overheard him and got very angry.
"How dare you call my child ugly? He is the most beautiful child God has given me. Go away from here at once,"
she screamed, and picked up her baby. She wiped his face with a cloth, and she hugged and kissed him lovingly. She took her child inside, and then closed the door. There was a shocked silence as the king and his courtiers realized what the minister had tried to show them. Finally, the king turned to the minister and said,
"You were right. All parents find their children to be the most beautiful. The love for their children blinds them, so they do not see anything wrong with them.
Your Majesty. The same holds true for your grandparents too. Don't you think so?
Teased the minister. Moral. Love blinds us to imperfections.